please.
Ross? Here. Taylor's out. Robinson?
Here.
Baxter?
Here.
Harris? Here. Insulaco?
Here.
And Height?
Present.
Nathan's here also. He's fixing the lights, okay?
All right.
We won't count him though.
All right. Well, we'll count him, but let's go ahead and say the prayer of the pledge. Mr. Baxter will say the prayer. Everybody stand, please.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, while this may not be the season of thanks, it is important to thank you for the many blessings that you throw our way last 10 days, Lord. We're so thankful for each and every city employee that has worked tirelessly in an effort to reach out to our citizens and try to make them whole again. Lord, we're also thankful for the many volunteers that have come from, some from faraway places, some just as close as next door, Lord, helping each other out as we try to calmly go through the devastation that has been provided to us. Lord, we just ask that you continue to look over those who are volunteering and helping us out. We know that sooner or later, Lord, that we will rebuild and be a much better North Little Rock. Just so thankful for each and every one of our employees. Continue to keep them safe. Give us where we fail you. For us to sing in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much.
Second.
Motion seconded.
So you know, on the minutes, you're doing March 27th, April 3rd, April 5th, and April 7th.
And you have Mr. Hamilton here too.
Yes.
All right. Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor? He's no longer in the room. Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
Communications need to be pulled by anybody?
1 and 2.
1 and 2, pull them? Okay.
Do you want them read or by title?
1, you can just summarize it, or by title, and then by 2, if you would read it, please.
Go ahead.
All right, so communication 1 is from Anita Paul in the mayor's office. It's a memorandum regarding a new restaurant mixed drink minimum permit, new application for the lot traffic at 601 West 4th Street, and this is for Lawrence Barbie Jr. And I should have specified, this was a letter from the Alcohol Beverage Control Board about that particular application, and they're seeking the city's response if necessary.
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Ross.
I mean, I don't want to vote to accept and file this. Can we hold the communications? Because there's also information in communication 2 that pertains to this.
You can
So you want to go ahead and read number 2?
Yes, please.
Okay. Do you want it read its entirety?
Please.
Okay.
This is an email from Chief Brent Allman from the North Park Fire Department dated Friday, April 7th of this year, written to Chief Tucker. And the letter as follows: to whom it may concern, it has been brought to my attention the operators of a food truck court located at 601 West 4th Street is being considered for a liquor license. The reason I'm emailing about this now is so you will have time to consider the matter before the council meeting. If this license is used in allowance to serve drinks at this location and the building is used as a bar, it will be in violation of fire code. The overall size of the building is 8,560 square feet. The building is not separated by any fire barrier. The occupant load for the whole unseparated building will most likely be more than 500 people. The opposite side of the structure or the building could operate as an A2 without a fire sprinkler system. It would require a 2-hour rated fire barrier separating it from the warehouse side. It is likely also, it will likely also requires some emergency lighting and lighted exit signs. If the warehouse side was actually used as a part of the assembly without a fire sprinkler system, it would be a clear violation of the fire code. The entire building or just the warehouse side was used as an A2 occupancy. In addition to requiring a fire sprinkler system, the code would also require 3 remote emergency exits with lighted exit signs along the exit passageways. Emergency lighting is also required. The original use of the building was not an assembly. The fire code requires the building be brought up to the current code for an A2 assembly occupancy before an alcohol license is issued. The Station nightclub fire that occurred in 2003 in Rhode Island can be looked up online. It is a very good example of why it's important to require a building to be brought up to current code before allowing it to operate as an assembly. And this was signed Chief Warren B. Allman, Fire Marshal, North Rock Fire Department.
Okay,
Yes,
so-
ma'am.
So here's my question. If we vote to accept and file one, is that basically giving it our approval? I definitely want to accept and file number 2, but on this number 1.
It's not, I didn't mean to interrupt
no,
you,
go
I'm
ahead. No,
sorry.
I'm asking you.
Okay, I apologize, though, I started before you were done. It's not voting to approve it if you accept and file this. This just puts you all on notice that the application has been filed. And as you read through the letter, comments of public officials, each of you all as public officials have 15 days to send a response to the ABC if there's something that you want the ABC to know while they are considering this alcohol beverage permit.
So I would like to ask the fire chief to make sure that's included. We want to make sure that they have followed all the codes, they have everything that they need to, before they're issued their liquor license. We don't want to,
Chief, did you hear that,
numerous
sir?
fires at these large assemblies.
Did you hear what was said? Yes, I did. Okay. No, come, you gotta come up if you don't mind. Come up, please. I will, just a second.
Chief, I think what we're asking is that, will you be sure to contact Arkansas Beverage Control and let them know that everything you've said in your letter?
Yes, we can do
Okay.
that.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Baxter?
Well, I was going to say even better, can we attach this communication to
That's right.
the permit application?
Exactly.
Is that out of order, or is that fine?
No, that is just fine. And what you can do is, like, if you look at your communication, it has the comments of public officials. So, one could go out. Well, actually, any one of you all could make your own comments, but I would suggest that from the mayor's office, that come from the mayor's office or the fire marshal's office. He's also a public official, and attach that email with the concerns.
Well, and also in their application, you're saying it's a restaurant, so I know that they would have to do the health department code, and they'll have to have the sprinkler system for that. But then for the assembly hall too, that's the,
I'm sure
Yes,
that the
yes.
fire department's
Sure.
not let anything illegal happen.
that's right. I
That's
just
what
want
we're
to-
saying.
Okay, so now I move to accept and file with the condition that we have the public comment from the fire chief.
Thank you, Chief. There's a motion to accept
We'll
and
make
file.
that take care of it.
There's a second. Thank you, Chief.
Second.
Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor? Yes. Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
Now, is there a motion and a second on number 2?
Move to accept and file.
Second.
Motion second.
Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor? Yes. Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
If I can have the council's permission, I want to go down front for presentations, if you don't mind. Missy, where are you? Come on. Let me introduce Miss Missy, the coach, if you don't mind. I've known her. In fact, I've known your father for a long, long time, but Missy Sellers, the coach. If I can have you go ahead and break in, and let's do the honors, please, if you don't mind. Tell us a little bit about this,
Okay,
please.
I wrote it just so I,
You wrote it?
yes.
All right.
Just wanted to thank you for recognizing this special team. They won their 3rd state cheerleading championship this past December. On top of being a very talented team, they have a collective GPA of over a 4.0. Many of them are in multiple AP classes. This team suffered a major loss with the passing of one of our team members, Tori Moody, in October, the week before our first competition. It was a devastating loss to our team to not only lose a teammate, but to many a close friend. An event like this can be difficult to work through, especially with kids so young. Our competitions were a struggle all season. However, we know Tori was with us at state as the team performed their best routine of the season, and we won our 3rd state title.
I'm not going to read all these individually, but I am going to say, be it known that I, Terry C. Hartwick, Mayor of the City of North Rock, do hereby proclaim the 10th day of April, 2023, as in honor of the state 6A Girls State Championship at the 2023 NCAA High School National Finals in Dallas, Texas. So I'm going to read these off. First one, this one goes to you.
Thank you.
And may I have y'all come up, and we're going to take some pictures, okay? So with this, Caroline Jolly. Caroline Jolly? Here you are, Caroline. Come on up, please. Yeah, please.
Julia French.
Julia, come on up. Y'all stay here with me, okay? Amy, take her. Amy?
She's not here. She's not here. She's not here.
Okay, I'll hold this for her.
Anna Baggett.
Let's see.
She's not here.
Okay.
Abrielle Crump. Haley Jordan. Kylie Sartain. Aspen Frenzy. Ayana Jones. Cottrell. Amaya Kendall. Hogan. She's videoing me to make thumbnail of it.
All right. And y'all-
Emma Dill.
Dustin.
I tore some ligaments playing soccer.
Oh, okay.
Avery Ballon. And our last one was Tori Moody.
Would y'all do me a favor?
Get them all
I'm about to get them all over here. Y'all come this way with me, please. I'll get our council back here, please. If y'all would stand.
Easy for you to say.
Still stand up there.
Back here, Mama, Daddy, come on up, please.
Want to get one with the team and then with the parents after that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can all get around.
Ready? Right here.
Hang on a second. Everybody get close. You got everybody in there?
Got everybody. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Everybody, we got pictures. Come on, take pictures. So y'all are Dallas area?
You want to get there with them and get pictures?
All right, everybody good? Good seeing you. Come on, this. Aaron, you back there? I'll bring Mr. Davis up, Chief of Staff Mike. There you are. Come on up, please.
Hashtag.
I can tell you without a doubt, not only Mike, but I can name about 38 department heads who's been extremely, extremely busy. But I thought it was be something good tonight for y'all to see a little video, but let Mike talk about where we are in this process. Okay, Mike, if you don't mind, please, sir?
Okay,
And
yes,
Aaron, you want to start, you want to see the video first, or what?
I just want to say something about the video first.
All right, hang on.
Our drone footage was taken on Saturday morning, the first that we did, and so at the beginning of this video, that's what you see. And then the last part of this is going to be what happened over the weekend. It's really incredible, especially in Amboy, to see the amount of debris that was cleaned up by volunteers that brought it to the street. And then our company, Crowder Gulf, has been busy. They have made, so far today, they're at 80 loads, and they've gotten another 4,677 cubic yards of debris picked up. So a lot's happening, but it's really neat to see this. When Amboy, the street sweeper was out there this morning, as a matter of fact, so it's kind of cool to watch.
Aaron, you ready? Thank you.
So that's pretty impressive to me to see the amount of cleanup that was done over the weekend. Our volunteers, by them, Crowder coming in and clearing the curbs like they have in the streets, we went from not being able hardly to really drive up and down a road by Saturday through our own street department, the first Saturday, making one lane of traffic, and then by the time Crowder rolled around, they were able to get to all avenues. So I think that says a lot for our city people. And then the volunteer cleanup that happened, were able to clear off all of that debris. Crowder's come in picking it up. So now if volunteers can get at it again if they'd like to, and start the process again. So the street's going to fill back up. We know that, but a lot of progress, I think, this past 10 days.
Any questions? I cannot say enough about Mike and all the 38 departments that we have in our city. The fire, police, now we got security looking at, and I mean, if I leave anybody out, I'm going to apologize, but as the storm hit around 2:30 last Friday, we were up and mobilized by what, 4 o'clock?
2:45,
2:45, so that's how fast.
about 15 minutes after.
Yeah, so we were up and moving. We stayed there that night till approximately midnight, maybe a little after. The next morning, we all got there around 5 o'clock in the morning and continued to start and keep on going. Mike's been having briefings approximately 7 o'clock every morning. So I think it's going to 7:30, 8 o'clock tomorrow, and then briefings in the afternoon. What Mike and I did approximately Sunday, I left him in charge of the command center. What I realized by being out that Sunday night is that we had to continue to carry on. Rose City still need their sanitation picked up. We still have people wanting to get business license. We still have people wanting to get building permits. So we had to continue the city because a lot of people knew we had a tornado, but they weren't affected. So we had to continue the city as we always have. Meanwhile, the job was well handled by Mike, and I say CFO, and everybody's there. So our decision was, he runs the command center, I'll take over the city, and we'll keep it running. I cannot say enough about all the people that's been involved.
Yeah, and I just have to say, I mean, you keep saying me, but I'm telling you, it was a really great group of people to work with. The electric department, I mean, you just cannot say enough to go from 15,000 without power to now, anybody that doesn't have electricity now is a problem with their residence itself. In other words, if you look at the meter, it may show they don't have power. The house may not be there. So that's why. So they are all caught up. They're finishing up a little bit in Burns Park, doing some things, but power is back on. So.
And meanwhile, we had a tremendous rainstorm that Tuesday, I lose track of days, Tuesday or Wednesday, which put us really back about a day. So anyway, my hat's off, and us as a council will say my thank you to all of y'all. Beg your indulgence for one more presentation. Where is Chris Wilburn? I know he's here somewhere. There you are. Come on up, Chris. I had a note from Chris. I think he sent it to me yesterday or Friday. When was it? Friday. I lose track of days here lately. Anyway, Chris, you're on. You're up.
Oh, well, I just wanted to come and say I'm retiring. I was turning 65 this year. I am. And I was originally going to retire in August, at the end of August. I've decided to kind of move that up. All y'all know I've been taking, or most of y'all know that I've been taking care of my dad for the last 10 years. And he passed a month or so ago. And my daughter lives in Pensacola, and she's getting married in May. And I hadn't had more than 3 days off in the last 10 years. And I've decided to go spend the month of May in Pensacola. And so I wanted to thank everybody here so much. Y'all are a great council. I worked as a consultant for 30 years before I came here. And I've seen many councils in different municipalities. I never saw any council members, and that includes Beth and Jane. Y'all always have worked so well together. You may not always agree with everything with each other, but y'all work better than other councils I've been exposed to over the years. That's one reason I stayed. I always thought I would work a couple years and then go into a little bit of consulting, side consulting. But Joe Smith made me an offer after 2 years that I thought was really intriguing, which was to start the traffic camera system to get ready for the Broadway Bridge construction. And here it is 10 years later. And I haven't regretted it at all. It's been wonderful. Y'all all have my number, free to call me. I'm turning it over to a really good engineer, and y'all proceed forward. So,
Thank you very much. Thank you so very much, Chris. So
Hey,
very,
can I
very
say
much.
something? Chris, if you'll come pick me up, I'll buy your lunch.
I am free to you to walk sidewalks. Okay. We'll inventory your sidewalks this year.
Okay, good.
I heard that I got a beach house to stay in Pensacola or something? Call you when I'm done there? Okay. Okay.
Thank you all so very much. Thank you, Chris, for all you've done and will do. He's not going far. We'll keep him on a short leash. All right, let's go ahead. Please call.
Unfinished business, R2360, Mayor Hartwick.
I'm going to hold that if you don't mind.
Yes, sir. The next on the unfinished will be O2309, council members Ross and Height.
I got numbers here. Let's read it and then I'll get to it before we vote. Is that fair enough?
O2309, establishing a comprehensive code to regulate issuance of and conditions associated with short-term residential rental business license for the city of North Little Rock. Third reading.
I have people here, if you don't mind, Ms. Ross, go ahead. Go ahead, Dennis, get your amendments on it, okay?
And it's on the first page, and what these are is just for clarifications. I want it made clear as possible that owner-occupied short-term rentals, if you have a room in your house, a basement that you want to rent out, that's not really the city's business, but we do need to track them. So on page 1, we just, and we got a copy of it though, it's just that, it's just clarifying that owner-occupied, they are allowed in R1 and R2 if they're owner-occupied.
Yes, let's, and let's do them one at a time since it's two totally different things.
Asking, do we need a motion?
Oh.
On the third and final reading, go ahead and get a motion and then present that, so it's before you guys.
Diane, I need to stop and listen to, let people finish today, I'm sorry.
There's a second, okay.
Motion, there's a
right.
second.
My
now
microphone was
go.
off, I apologize.
All right. Go ahead, you were doing your amendment.
Okay, now we're ready. So I'll start over because my microphone up. On page 1, all that does is just clarify that owner-occupied, those are called STR1s. Those are owner-occupied, and they are allowed in a R1 and a R2. That's your home. The only thing anyone needs to do to get that license is a $50 license, and you do have to provide your homestead tax credit, which is proof that you live there. But you do need a license. So do these individually?
Do them individually,
Okay,
please.
so that would be my first amendment.
Can you read that amendment again, please, for that first one? Have you got it, Ms.
Okay,
Fields?
I've got it, and it's on the handout that was sent out to everybody, but just so that Diane will have it in the record, and we also have people here on section 2A, we'll add instead of how it reads now, it's gonna read, there shall be no new short-term rental business licenses for short-term rental type 2 rentals allowed in the R1 and R2 zoning districts. Short-term rental type 1 owner-occupied rentals are allowed within R1 and R2 zoning districts, subject to the provisions of this ordinance.
And that's the first
That's my
amendment.
amendment, yes.
So,
That
Ms.
amendment.
Whitby,
Second?
there's a motion, there's a second on the amendment.
Ross?
Yes?
Hamilton?
Yes?
Taylor? Yes. Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Insulaco? Yes. Height?
Yes.
On amendment 2?
Amendment 2, let me find what page it's on.
Okay, page 7.
7, okay. On page 7, you wanted to read it, Amy? We'll just let me go for it.
Okay, on page 7, again, this is to provide for a different licensing structure for the short-term rental type 1s, the owner-occupied. So in the first sentence, we're gonna say the initial and subsequent annual business license.
Stop for just a second, Ms. Fields, I'm sorry. Where are you, which, are you reading from? H-I-J?
I.
I? Okay, gotcha. I want to be sure. Thank you. All right.
/ privilege tax for short-term rental, two type rental properties, and then goes on to the language that was there before, and then you finish that couple of sentences, and then we add the initial and subsequent annual business license fee / privilege tax for short-term rental type 1 owner-occupied rental properties shall be $50 per residence per year, instead of figuring them on the number of occupancy of folks there.
So that's my amendment. Motion for that amendment to be.
Second.
Yes.
Yes.
Taylor? Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter? Yes. Harris?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
I have 4 people wanting to speak on this ordinance. You want to go ahead and open that up with you, if it's with y'all? Okay, Ms. Ross?
Can I go ahead and speak first?
Yes?
Let me go first. This is not something that we just came up with overnight. This is something that we've been looking at for years and kept thinking, okay, we're going to have to do something till it's gotten to the point that we've had several incidents and we've had several calls. I know I have. And I guess to me, the biggest thing is the loss of our community. And that example was at a tornado. Take Amboy. I mean, it's neighbors helping neighbors. It's neighbors that live there. And I know that the state tried to say that there's no different than short-term rental and just a regular rental. Yes, there is, because the regular rentals, they're there all the time. The short-term rentals, they're there for 2 nights a week or whatever. But and we will hear from some of the residents from the community about their residents in the audience about their community. And the other thing is short-term rentals are businesses. That's some people were trying to say that they're not a business. They are a business. There's an exchange of money. There's taxes collected. From some people, there's taxes collected. We've had no regulations whatsoever. All there was the $35 fee, and we only had 20 people that actually came in and got a business license. We have approximately over 100 that have been, by the host compliance company that have gone out and looked. There's over 100 right now that we know of. One of the things too, and this is from the A&P, Karen Trevino couldn't be here tonight, because they talk about, it promotes tourism. It does promote tourism, but we're not collecting any taxes. These short-term rentals, they are the same as a hotel. I know the AHOA, the Hotel Association, they showed up. I don't know. I know Jim's got there. There was at least 30 of them there from across the state. And they were there, and their whole thing is, we don't mind competition, because these are competition for the hotels, as long as there's a level playing field. Well, there's not a level playing field, because they're having to collect the A&P tax, the hotel tax. 1% goes to Burns Park. 2.5% goes to A&P, and that's on the hotel. And then on the food service tax, that's a separate. That's 2.5 parks and half A&P. But the hotel, their whole thing is, let us have a fair playing field. Let's do the same. Let's have some of the same inspections. These are not inspected. These houses, the short-term rentals, they haven't been inspected. We've seen several incidents out of Hot Springs. I think they had their fire marshal, over 50% of them did not even pass the first inspection from the fire marshal. And that was just basic fire extinguishers, smoke detectors, ingress, egress. The thing about short-term rental, if you live in a home, you know where your windows are and your doors are in case of a fire. If you're just staying somewhere just for the night, you're not necessarily familiar with the area. So we need to make sure that these are, that the fire department, the fire marshal's office has inspected them. I can go on and on, but we'll let everybody, I want to hear from the audience.
Anybody else up here? All right, I have Miss Beth White and Tom White would like to speak. Would you like to come forward?
Hello, Mayor. We're going to come separately.
I know, I got it.
I'm
I
Beth
saw it
White.
wasn't Mr. and Mrs. I saw he signed his name separate too. Gotcha, go ahead. Identify
I'm
yourself,
Beth White.
please.
I live at 4021 Glenmere in North Little Rock. First of all, I want to say my heart reflects what the prayer for our city was today about the tornado and the victims, and gratitude towards our city people who did such an amazing job to help people. And thank you. It was a terrible thing to behold. This legislation, and I think the ed legislation is extremely good. I've read it multiple times. Gives the council and the mayor another tool to protect neighborhoods. This is about protecting our neighborhoods, and that's where I came when I was on the council. That's what I cared about when I started out, was protecting our neighborhoods. The short-term rentals are mini hotels, and they don't belong in our area. I think I told you when I was here before, I had 6 short-term rentals within walking distance of my house. We've seen all kinds of things. There's a continual stream of strangers that rent these houses. We've had parties, bonfires, parking on the grass, unhitched trailers, trash issues, and cars driving too fast, which is still going on even as of yesterday for one of them. They aren't invested in our community. They just need a place to sleep or crash. Prohibiting short-term rentals in R1 and R2 is a positive step to keep our city and residents safe. Thank you.
Tom White?
Mayor, members of the City Council, as we were driving here tonight, I was reminded that while Beth served on the council and I dropped her off, I think I sat through all the meetings she ever came to, so this would be like my 200 some odd time here. And in all those times, some of the legislation I would be lying to you if I said I didn't have an opinion, and I would have liked to express that opinion, but at no time did I feel compelled to speak on anything like I feel I need to speak on this. I looked at the front page of the legislation because I was going to digest the whole thing, and I'll tell you right now, the legalese just blew me away. But there are some interesting things in this. We talk about protecting public health, safety, and welfare. We talk about minimizing the potential adverse impacts of transient uses of residential neighborhoods. Now, I looked up the word transient. I know what it means, but I thought I'd look it up. It means passing through. And Beth referred to the fact, I mean, you have no investment in some place you're passing through. I've stayed in countless hotels over my years, and I don't have an investment in any of those other than the transaction we made where I paid for a place to lay down and sleep. And that's what these places are. We talk about residential, and residential, at least in my mind, means someplace that's not commercial. And I think it's been said before, these are places where you transact for a place to sleep. That is commercial, in my humble opinion. We talk about residential, I just mentioned that, but then you talk about neighborhoods. So I looked up the word neighborhood. I mean, I know what a neighborhood is, but here's what it says. It's an area where people live and interact with each other. And that's why I bought my house on Glenmere Road 30-some years ago, was to be in a place where I could interact with my neighbors. All of the 6 rentals that are within 2.5 blocks of, I worked it out today. They're within 2.5 blocks of my house. One of them is 9 houses down from me. So many of the things that Beth reported, I've reported to her because I walk my dog between 5 and 7 miles every day, and we walk the same way most of the time. I've created a monster. He wants to take a walk all the time. Anyhow, these are things I have witnessed. This has not been reported to me. I have seen the traffic. In fact, it was a game with me till I realized it was going to keep going on. If I see an out-of-state license coming down my street doing 35 miles an hour in a 20 zone, they're going to the party house, as we've come to call it. That's where they're heading, because I track them. So we got the traffic thing. We got the noise. I can tell you there was one incident where a guy from Dallas came to go to a car show. He had his trailer parked fully on the grass. And by the way, we're a parking district. I think that's not allowed. He had his super modified Challenger with a Hemi engine that had been beefed up to 800-some horsepower, and he was revving that for 20 minutes straight. I got within about 3 houses of there walking the dog, and my heart started thumping in my chest. He was making so much noise. Okay? I've also seen many trailers left there, and usually in the house on my street, there's at least 3 cars, sometimes 6 or 7 cars, parked on the grass. Garbage, filled up, not carried away because it's not according to code. I've seen them put tons of garbage in recycling. There was am I 3 minutes? Okay, I'm running out. I'm
sorry.
No. Please pass this legislation. I know you can't get rid of the ones that are there right now, but I do not want another one in my neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Patrick Stair. Patrick, are you here? Yes, thank you. And Go ahead. Yes, sir. Identify yourself, please.
Thank you for letting me speak. Regarding proposal.
Patrick, do
Yes,
your
sir.
favor,
Oh,
sir.
I'm sorry. Patrick Stair, 411 West Fifth Street.
Thank you.
Regarding proposal 02309 for regulating short-term rentals like Airbnbs, let me say at the outset that I am in favor of regulating them. More specifically, I'm in favor of preventing short-term rentals from growing too concentrated. Last year, when I spoke in favor of a temporary moratorium on short-term rentals, I said that I was not completely opposed to them, and I think a small number of them could have a beneficial impact on a neighborhood. But as I have said elsewhere, I am in favor of neighborhoods filled with neighbors, people who live there, pay taxes there, raise their kids and walk their dogs here, and work and vote here. And while a few short-term rentals can spice up a neighborhood, they can quickly become too concentrated in an area, weakening the social fabric that can make a neighborhood a great place to live. In extreme cases, too great a concentration can be detrimental to the well-being of the entire city, as has happened elsewhere in Arkansas and in numerous places around the world. I support 02309 because I'm witnessing more and more short-term rentals setting up in my neighborhood. I love my neighborhood, and I don't want to see it hurt by too many short-term rentals. But since I think there is some benefit to be had from a small number of short-term rentals, I would like to suggest one modification that would, I think, allow these rentals to continue to show up, but just not in a concentrated form. This control can be done rather easily by simply saying that in R1 and R2 zones, no new STR can be approved within, for instance, 600 feet of any existing STR. I think that a regulatory method such as this could, by limiting the concentration, provide for a controlled allowance of STRs. It would also be easy to fine-tune over time by increasing or decreasing the distance allowed, and it could be readily tailored with different concentrations allowed in different zones. But let me be clear, in the absence of this modification, I still support 02309, because while I don't think you can have too few short-term rentals, I do firmly believe you can have too many.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Glenda, help me. Glenda, I saw you. I know where you are. Come on, Glenda. Identify yourself, please.
I'm here by myself. Glenda Love Casina.
Yes,
I'm a
ma'am.
resident on Glenmere Road in North Little Rock. While I've owned and operated a small pub here in the North Little Rock area for more than 32 years, and I'm always thankful for the advertising, promotions, and tourism that comes in, I also have a home where I raised my children. I now have my grandchildren quite often, and as Tom and Beth have said, when they're running up and down the road, when the noise factors kicked in, all of the trash, I am so opposed to having that happen in the safety of my neighborhood.
Thank you, Glenda. Appreciate it. Where are we, Ms. Whitby? We've done the amendments.
Third and final reading, it has been amended, so it's ready for discussion and vote.
Has there been a motion to adopt as amended?
Oh, I'm sorry, no.
Motion to adopt as amended.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
Thank you. There's a motion to adopt and amended and seconded.
Do you want, are you?
I think we've talked so much, and I know that we've talked so much over at the Capitol when the
Oh,
state
in my
tried to.
family, if you don't say it in 100 words,
Okay, I
then
have the floor right now, but, and I have the floor. We've spent so much time over at the Capitol, and I don't know how many people have, I don't want to be repeating everything that has been said. There was also a letter that I was not aware of today that came from the, what is it, the Arkansas Association Chief of Police. It was a very excellent letter. It was sent to the committee at the state, and I had not seen that today, but it's very interesting, and they were imploring, they wanted to implore to consider the unintended consequences of a decrease in community safety due to hindered response times for serious crimes and to vote against SB 197. So they had, they had sent this letter to the It was the Cities and Town Committee in the House, and I had not seen that letter, but it was a very, very interesting letter to see that to come from the Arkansas Association of Chief of Police. We've had a letter, I know there was a letter, an excellent letter from the fire chief in Hot Springs, and they had cited several different things. So I'm not going to go through all of those. We've got stacks and stacks of information that, and like I said, I absolutely am not against short-term rentals. I am a frequent guest of short-term rentals. It's just that we do have to have some regulation. And we looked at how do we do the density? And that's why this it took over a year trying to figure out how did we do the density. I know Elaine, your legal staff, we took several hours of their time is, do you do one per block? Well, what's a block? Do you do, within like you said, 600 feet and it just got to the point where we could not figure out a density that worked in a single family zoning, R1s and R2s. And that's where we came up with that. In the future, if there's an area that wants to be designated as a short-term rental district, bring it to us. We can bring it back the same way that we did the restricted parking district. Not everybody wanted to pass a restriction where you couldn't park in your front yard. You couldn't park on the lawn. And that's how we came up with the restricted parking districts. We developed that for the neighborhoods that wanted that. And that's how we came up with those. And so, in the future, is it perfect? We can always come back and modify it. If, like I said, if somebody wants to come up with a short-term rental district, bring it back to us and let's look at that. But for right now, we've taken several cities and we've combined all of those and picked the best of all of those out.
Anybody else? I think we need to call it Mr. Whitby. All right, Mr. Hamilton. I'm sorry, Mr. Hamilton.
My name's Nathan Hamilton, and I absolutely support regulation for short-term rentals. Senate Bill 197, that was going to tell cities they couldn't pass any short-term regulations. Along with the police chiefs and fire department people, I wrote a letter supporting, saying we absolutely have to vote against this. Cities have to be able to regulate the stuff in their cities. I support short-term rental regulations. There are density regulations in here for the city, 1%. That's a reasonable regulation. We sat here during the discussion of all of this, when the bill was being developed, Councilmember Ross says that they tried to figure out how to do it. Even Patrick Stayer supports short-term rentals in a small amount. But because we can't figure out how to do it, we're going to ban everything? Is Ms. McHenry here, our head of code enforcement?
Felicia, is Ward here? Felicia, they were working earlier. I don't see.
Okay, my question would be, and my question for most of the residents would be, is there a difference between owner-occupied and short-term rentals? And the answer is yes, that changes a neighborhood. I can understand that. Is there a difference between a long-term rental and an owner-occupied? The answer is yes. So my question is, where's our bill, our 10-page bill that regulates long-term rentals? Councilmember White and Tom have been mentors to me, and they are amazing. And Glenda, obviously, she knows how much I love her. Argenta is one of the most dearest places to my heart, and I love that place, and I don't want it to change. But as Patrick says, there can be a good to these kinds of things. The complaints that have been brought forward, speeding, trailers on the grass, noise problems, parking on the grass, garbage in the recycling cans, none of these things are legal today. We're not enforcing the rules we have. We're simply creating a new bill or a new law that says, oh, you couldn't do it before, guess what? You can't do it again. It's a redundancy. And there are, if you ask Ms. McHenry, the number of complaints that this city gets from long-term rental properties compared to the number of complaints that we get from short-term rental properties, it's not even close. Long-term rental properties is what we should be focusing our attention on. If you want to take absentee landlords who are running long-term rental properties, they're not there. They're ignoring their properties and decreasing the value of a neighborhood. Short-term rental properties, they're advertising these places. They get 4 bad reviews. They are done. They're never rented again. Right now, Airbnb does not allow parties in their house. We should complain to them and get those party houses shut down. There are avenues to do so. I am for short-term rental regulation in our city, and it's up to our city to do that legislation and to do that regulation. But the fact that we're going to go in and ban all short-term rentals in residential zones goes against the very prospect of having a new industry. And what Patrick Stair was saying, who is opposed to massive short-term rentals, I mean, I think Patrick Stair and I actually agree on the density issues. You can have too many. So let's work on not having too many, as opposed to shutting it down and saying we're not ever going to do this again. The fact that Airbnbs don't collect taxes, I don't know where that came from. I pay taxes. The fact that a fair playing field, the Airbnb there were lawsuits about this. Airbnb, Expedia, they all have to pay taxes, the short-term rentals. Now, the ones that don't have licenses, they're not paying because we're not telling them they need to be licensed. So what do? Do we try to get people licensed? No, we put a moratorium in effect and say, you can't get a license. I don't know why we did that. In terms of the transient nature, as Tom was talking about, of short-term rentals, he's right in a sense. This is new. These are new types of properties, but I disagree with the fact that they are exactly like hotels and you are only there to lay your head and go to sleep. When I've gone up to Bentonville and stayed in a short-term rental, I have enjoyed that neighborhood. My family, my kids have walked around and bicycled and enjoyed that neighborhood. And we have a better view of Bentonville because of it. I'm going to vote no on it, but I think that's only because I think that there should be different types of regulations, not blanket bans.
Ms. Ross.
I'm not going to get a debate here over this because I've worked on it and I haven't seen Mr. Hamilton in any discussion that we've had on this and could have
I'm not
volunteered.
allowed to.
No, could have volunteered any time to meet with legal on this. But on this saying that when I say that we're not collecting taxes, Airbnb is the only host platform that is remitting money. We're not getting any money from Verbo, any of them, none of the others. We have 2 independent short-term rentals in the city, the owners that are remitting within the city. So no, we are not collecting the taxes. Airbnb, Mountain Home, they were at the Capitol there. Airbnb, you have to sign a contract with them. They would not even sign a contract with Mountain Home because they're too small, evidently. So unless the city enters into an agreement with them, and why don't we just go out and send them a letter? We don't know where they are. If you've ever gotten on any site, they're not going to give you the address until you go to the booking site. So with that, I move for adoption.
There's a motion to adopt.
I have something to say.
It's already been
As
moved
amended.
and
All right,
seconded.
there's amended.
I have
Motion-
something to say.
Second.
Mr. Hamilton.
Councilman, okay, am I out of order?
I'm going to allow it, but she's up for adoption, so what do you want to say? Let's get through
Well, I
it.
mean, she went twice. Can I go twice?
I just said you could, yes, sir.
Okay.
Please.
You're like, Councilmember Ross said, these are businesses. I'd like to ask Clerk Whitby, if in order to have a long-term rental, do you need a license in this city?
Yes.
So are long-term rentals businesses
Yes,
by definition?
yes.
And so those are licenses and businesses as well. Have we banned them in residential zones?
So with all that, has anybody else got anything? I mean, I think there's a motion to adopt the ordinance, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct? Please, call it. In the row.
Ross?
Yes?
Hamilton?
No.
Taylor? Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
And on the emergency, Ross?
Yes?
Hamilton?
No.
Taylor? Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
Thank you. On the consent items, I'm going to ask that anyone wants to pull anything on the consent agenda from R2370 to R2381. Ms. Ross?
We need to pull R2377 to amend in the map.
I think there is a map, wasn't there?
There was a
We
map.
added it later.
Okay, that's fixed. I saw the
Or
map.
we got it later. I don't think I sent it out to everybody, but
There is a map if y'all
There
want.
was a map.
Ms. Ross can pass her map around if y'all like to look at it.
So let's do
Yeah,
this.
that's
You
my
want to pull R2377, you're saying, correct?
And we have a copy of the map that I can either attach or you guys can amend it as an exhibit
Let's
to be
fix that. I thought
attached.
everybody had the map.
They did in the,
Still on the
in
consent.
the email.
So I'm on the consent agenda. There's wanting to be pulled, R2377. How do you stand? All in favor, say aye. On the others?
Aye.
Those opposed? Art? R2377, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, sir.
Please.
R2377, Mayor Hardwick.
Please.
Authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute a real estate sales and purchase agreement to purchase property adjacent to the North Little Rock wastewater utility, Faulkner Lake treatment plant from the Clifton family.
Michaels, Mr. Clayton's here. If you've got any questions for him possibly. I think everybody does have the map, Mr. Clayton. Thank you, sir. Any questions for Mr. Clayton on this? If not, there's a
Second.
motion.
Okay, well, let's do the
Yeah, we're gonna-
amendment since it's
There's
been
amendment.
called.
Like to amend in the map. Move it.
Motion to amend the map, and there's a second.
Ross?
Yes?
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
City.
On the motion as amended, there's a motion to, it's a move? Yes, Mr. Taylor said so.
Second?
There's a
Second.
Okay.
Ross?
Yes.
Taylor? Hamilton?
Thank you.
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
Thank you.
New business, R2382. Council members Baxter and Ross.
Please call it.
Yeah. He's gonna come talk.
Come on up, Bill, just in case they want to see you or anything, okay? Please.
R2382, a resolution renaming the Burns Park Disc Golf Pavilion to the Bill Trousdale Pavilion.
All I have to say is thanks. When they asked if I wanted to speak, thank you, everybody, for the patience of going through this. Ms. Ross, Mr. Baxter, thank you so much for sponsoring this. Amy, thank you. Steve, thank you. This is well-deserved, and we're gonna let his wife, who's in a assisted home, it'll lift her spirits tremendously. Well-deserved for Mr. Trousdale.
Thank you.
I think
Ms.
we had
Ross.
did we have a photo? Aaron, do you have a photo for
Aaron's
it?
supposed to have it, but I don't know if
It's
something-
still standing after the tornado. I'm sure
That's
it
why I
may
had a
have to
photo
be
with trees
leveled,
on.
but it's
I
still
know.
standing in Burns Park. The
Here,
There we
pavilion.
go.
There it is.
Hey, right there it is.
Go. Yeah. Wow. And if I could, I just want to say something. This is years ago. Bill, why I'm one of the sponsors, even though it's in Ward 3, is that Bill lived in Ward 1 in Park Hill. And years ago, before I was even on the council, I was driving down West Ridge in Park Hill, and there's this thing in his yard, and I didn't even know what disc golf was back then. And that was Bill's house. And so
He had a basket in his front yard, and over the years, we've had people put trash in them, cook chicken in them. We've had them do a lot of things in
Right.
Burns Park, but since 1980, we've had disc golf going on, and I'm sure we'll continue when this is over.
I have to admit,
The grandfather of golf in North
I have
Little
to admit, when I ran parks, I knew nothing about disc golf, so one day it was maybe a Saturday morning, I was out driving the parks. It was about 38 to 42 degrees, raining. Nobody in the park could guess, except about 82 disc golfers throwing it. And I went, God, these guys, but anyway, they take it seriously, they get their exercise.
They're passionate.
They're passionate, they really
Yes,
are,
sir.
without a doubt.
Yes, sir.
Where are we?
So moved.
So, hang on.
Steve's got something.
Anybody else want to say anything? All right, so move.
I do want to say that, and Steve Shields, is Steve still here, that Steve has guaranteed
Right there,
us.
yeah.
Has guaranteed us, though, that if it's repaired, that the name will stay on it. If they do have to move it or whatever, it will still remain named after Bill.
That's awesome.
Thank you. We're on the motion in a second.
Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Yeah, you go.
Good job.
R 2383, Councilmember Hamilton.
Call it, please.
A resolution authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to enter into an agreement to rehabilitate property for certain real property located at 4807 Massey Street.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Motion and second.
Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
R 2384, Councilmember Harris.
No,
Nope.
no, you guys, Councilmember Hamilton.
Different ward.
84, where are we on? 84 or
We're on 84.
Oh, I-
84, it's
I
Councilmember
apologize.
Hamilton.
Mine says Harris. Hamilton.
There has been a huge breach of decorum. I apologize. I have sponsored this, and it was outside of my ward. I did so because I wasn't thinking about it at the time, and my apologies. I'd like to hold this, please.
Okay.
Miss Robinson?
I just want to make a few comments, and my comments are, I know that this property had been a nuisance for quite some time. This property legislation appeared before us May 9th, 2022, for a rehab agreement to have 6 months. The rehab agreement expired November 2022. However, this customer or client had inspections done in January, February, March. So here's my question. Since the rehab agreement expired November 2022, so this is not going to be an amended agreement because the original agreement expired. So my question is, what do we do about that? My second question is, will this vendor, since this vendor does not have an agreement, will they be allowed to continue to work on their property? And number 3, there should be a penalty for this agreement expiring. Normally, when agreements expire, we go ahead with demolition. So I'm just putting it out there, for this council, because, I've not known this to occur.
If any of those were directed to legal, and Ms. Robinson and I spoke before.
Would you move your microphone around,
I'm
please?
sorry. We, historically, a lot of property owners who have entered into rehab agreements have had issues with completing the rehab within 180 days. I can't say, the agreement, the only penalty provided for in the agreement is to demo the property. Why it hasn't come to the council before now, I can't say. However, and I have discussed with the mayor, with times the way they are and just what we've seen historically, that 180 days in some circumstances may not be sufficient. And that's a number that was arrived at well before I was city attorney. And I will just say, both as an attorney and looking at taking away somebody's entire investment on a property that is no longer a nuisance, even if they've gone, I see, just let me
Well,
finish, okay?
it's on hold. It's,
Well, Ms. Linda,
I know,
Ms.
but-
Robinson asked some questions, and so.
so, go
Okay.
ahead, finish.
That it does sit a little hard with me. And I'm not saying in this particular case, I don't know about this case, but when somebody is a few weeks away from getting a certificate of occupancy to knock down their house, seems a little extreme.
And I agree with you 100%, but anyway, it's on, you held it, correct?
I held it.
That's what I thought. So anything else? Let's go. Anybody else? Mr. Taylor? Can we, it's on hold.
So I'm confused, as I am quite often.
It's on hold.
I'm not confused about that.
Okay.
I'm brighter than I appear to be.
Can I ask a question, Mr. Taylor? Can we go on and I'll let you come back at the end and comment? Is that best? Is that okay, or do you have to do it now? I'm asking. It's your call.
I may be more confused then.
Go ahead.
So their rehab agreement expires. They do nothing. They don't come to the legislative body who extended the agreement, and they're just hanging out there in the wind. And then all of a sudden, when somebody moves on them, oh well, wait a minute, whoa, I need an extension. I mean, what? I guess I'm confused as what we're doing.
I think that you all for several months have been getting monthly reports and showing the progress on the various houses. Have there just been 2 of them? That Ward has
I don't
sent
want a
to
monthly
us?
report. I just want, all I want to know is, they said they're gonna be done with it in 6 months. Is it done? If it ain't done, then we need to come back to the table or we need to tear it down. I mean, some of these properties have been nuisance for years. Years, and they've had plenty of opportunity. When it comes to the day that we say we're gonna tear it down, and then we enter into a rehab agreement, so we're saying, hey, here's the deal, what are you gonna do? When they're standing up, or when they come to say to you, they can tell you, I can't do this in 6 months. Then we need to have that conversation then. I know, I'm just like, I was confused. So I guess I'm still confused, Mayor.
Still confused. I am too.
2325, please.
2325, Councilmember Harris.
Please call.
An ordinance rezoning certain property located at 10,524 Crystal Hill Road within the planning jurisdiction of the city of North Little Rock from R1 to R5, the zoning classification by adopting ordinance number 9263, first reading.
Can I do a motion to suspend all readings, put it on 3rd reading?
Is there a second?
Second.
Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
Excuse me, Mr. Taylor, I'm sorry. I
Harris,
apologize.
Johnson,
Mr.
Taylor.
Taylor. Yes.
Our townhomes, they're allowed in R4, correct? So why are we raising it to a higher level than it needs to be raised to? Just curious.
John's coming.
Say again?
Mr. Spencer's coming.
The description of R5 is, the word townhome is R5. So that's what they're wanting to do.
But we can do it in a 4.
They could do it in a 4, yes.
What's the difference, parking?
No, it's just real, it's sort of how they, apartments are stacked on top of each other and townhomes are vertical. I mean, there's not much difference other than the title.
Thank you, Sean. I am not confused.
Where are we, Mr.?
Do we have a
Scott?
motion to
For adoption.
Motion to adopt.
By the way, I do see the owners, and I don't know, this came from the Holloway firm, but I don't know Donald Harris, so there's no relations there, so, thought I'd share it, so anyway. Thank
Go
you.
ahead.
We had a motion to adopt. We have a second.
Second.
All right, sir. Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
And on the emergency, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
02326, Councilmember Harris.
Please call.
An ordinance rezoning certain property located on White Oak Crossing in the city of North Little Rock from I-2 to C3 zoning classification by amending ordinance number 9263, first reading.
Move to suspend all readings, please.
Second.
Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
Motion to adopt?
So move.
Second.
Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
On the emergency, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
02327, Councilmember Height.
Please call it.
An ordinance granting a special use to allow a columbarium in a R5 zone for certain real
that
property
again.
located.
Yes, say that again.
Try that again.
What's that?
Columbarium.
There you go.
Barry,
Very good.
move we suspend all readings.
Focus these glasses. In an R5 zone for certain real property located at 7,000 John F. Kennedy Boulevard in the city of North Little Rock. First reading.
Move suspend all readings.
Second.
Motion to suspend, there is a second.
Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
Height?
Yes. Move for adoption.
Second.
Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
On the
Thank you.
emergency, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Any comments from the council members? Ms. Robinson?
What I'd like to see is that when we get these legislation for rehab, is it possible somewhere to say, to let us know, remind us of the original agreement date?
Yes,
If that be a part of it,
Yes.
in that little heading,
yes,
part of it. Thank you.
yes.
Anybody else?
Just a quick question. So
Confucius.
where's the young lady get the fine, North Little Rock t-shirt from?
Page.
The Innovation Hub. You want one?
No, I'll
Are
let
you
you know.
confused, or do you really want one?
No, I'm not confused about that. I'll let you know.
Would you like one?
I'll let you know.
Okay. We've got some, I don't know if they got them that size or not.
You have some?
I got, yeah.
Go, brother.
I will get you one. What else? Anybody? Mr.
Mayor,
Baxter?
as it relates to these rehab agreements, one of the things that we've come across is, and probably Mr. Harris can attest to this, problems with, a lot with windows. And I'm hoping that our fine city attorney gets with those people coming in for a rehab agreement and says, get your windows on order first, because they're probably gonna be your longest delay. Because if somebody comes in asking for a extension, I'm gonna wanna see a receipt as to when they ordered those windows.
Absolutely.
If
And
that's the
I
holdup.
will tell them that, and, and maybe with particular properties, ask the question, and of course, it's up to you all whether 6 months is sufficient based on the current timelines for, getting, supplies in.
Ms. Ross?
I don't normally single out council members or whatever, but I do want to say that Councilmember Baxter, during the tornado, and I know he's at ground zero, because he lives in the area, but I have never seen a rock star walk. I mean, there was never, I'm constantly texting him, I know everybody else is, but he is actually down there working. I don't know how he's done it, but anyway, I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you and what a great job you've done. Great job.
One comment that I just want to make everybody aware, I posted something on the Amboy. I think one way to avoid price gouging is get 3 estimates. Get 3 estimates. I mean, it's hard as, surely, maybe one of the 3 is not bad person. Get 3 estimates. The prices I'm hearing following some of the people are outrageous. So,
Something to that? We strongly encourage everyone to make sure if you're doing business with someone that if they're a contractor, that they have their state contractor's license. Make sure they have insurance. Make sure they have a business license from somewhere in the state. If they have all of these things, then they're going to have more credibility. And also, if they're overcharging you, that is against the law, and that's going to be very bad for them if they're reported.
I think Mr. Hampton was.
No,
Go ahead.
one more comment. People are getting checks. So they're already getting checks. So that means you've got money and you've got somebody here. And so we're Arkansans, we're too honest, and just know that you're a target. If you're affected, you're a target. And be careful, that's all I'm saying.
Anybody else? Mr.
Yes,
Hampton?
our CFO, Ember Strange, can I ask you a question, please? I wouldn't take up too much people's time, but it's a $1 million question at least. The FEMA reimbursement of 75%,
No.
the FEMA reimbursement of 75%, I've seen that has gone up for about 30 days to 100%, depending on some things. Does that apply to us?
Well, the federal declaration right now is just for category A and B. Category A being debris removal, which we do have 100% for the first 30 days. Category B is emergency protective measures. On Friday, we filled out our estimates on the remaining categories to get the public assistance, because right now we're just in the individual assistance category. We talked to many FEMA reps, and hopefully that should be declared any day now, where we can get reimbursed for our public structures, any damage to roads, our utilities. So that's what we're waiting on right now.
So that's gone, it was at 75%. What's gone up to 100%?
Debris removal.
Debris removal.
Is 100%.
That's a good thing, right? That's about $1 million.
First 30 days, yeah.
For 30
And we
days.
got started right away. Actually, I got a call from Little Rock today, and their bid was just closing today on debris removal. So while we've been out picking up since last Tuesday, and that video was evidence of how great the vendor's been doing. So luckily, we had already had a contract, and it was up for renewal.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Ms. Ross?
I know everybody's tired. One quick thing, someone had asked the question about the permits for contractors, heat and air, electrical, in the tornado damaged houses. Are we waiving those permit fees?
Mr. Spencer, we've talked about, come on up.
Not everyone's aware
know.
of that, and
That's
so,
okay.
talk about the contractors, and I was trying to let everybody know if they are adding those into your, estimate, that they're
Do
not
that,
being
Mr.
charged
Spencer.
for that.
In the tornado impact zone, which the state developed the edges of it, the fees are waived.
Okay.
We'll decide in the future, but at the moment, they're waived for.
That's any kind of permit fee.
Yes.
But they will have to provide you with the house, the house number, so that you can look it up and you will know that it's in that area.
Well,
So-
we look it up, and they also have to sign a statement saying that this damage was done by
Okay,
a
but that's
tornado.
electrical, heat and air, roofing,
everything,
everything,
yes.
the permit fees are waived, but you still have to have the permit.
Correct, yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, and you have to, your contractor would have to come in and pull it. So if the contractor's pulling it, they've met all the requirements that was set forth. So that's a key, that if they pull a permit, that means they're legal with the city.
Okay, I just want to make sure we cleared that up.
Last thing, Mayor.
Mr. Baxter?
Again, I just want to publicly, say a big thanks on behalf of the Amboy community, the way the city has responded. I've heard nothing but positive comments from all the folks that I've helped sling limbs and trees for. So anyway, again, it's a big thank you from the Amboy community out that way.
Mr. Hamilton?
I know this is, and I know everyone's tired, and we get to the end of this, and we just want to go. In terms of the curfew, I just want to say that I believe that was the right thing to do, and I think we did it better Little Rock never did impose a curfew. I checked with them. Sherwood never did impose a curfew. I think it helped our residents, and I think it was appropriate to do that. And so I want to say I really do support that, and I think it was a good thing. If that comes up for debate in the future on how to handle that in the future, there can be some discussion, but this was exactly what it was for, and I'm glad we had it.
Anybody else?
Second.
Motion second.
All right.
Thank y'all. Good meeting.
Ross? Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor? Robinson? Baxter? Harris? Insulaco? Height?
Yes.